It's time to have a little bit of fun at the channel. In fact, poke fun at me, because this is about ugly Christmas sweaters, and you can't look at someone my age and think he doesn't have any ugly Christmas sweaters in his closet. Are you expecting a 3D reindeer popping off the front of my ugly Christmas sweater? That's a fair comment, because look at me. I'm not the youngest man out there in this game, but I do know sneakers, and I don't have a problem with laughing at myself, especially when it comes to stuff like this. And having said that, even though it's a bit of fun, even though it is a cute little sneaker and it's got a fun little story to it, and it's supported by a bunch of other ugly Christmas sweater lines out there from the Nike department, the main thing here though is it's a Nike Air Force One high, and you just don't see them that often. I mean, they are out there, but they just don't come around that often. So with, of course, because I like the idea of tying myself to this shoe, that's a great reason to do it. Yes, it's a funny shoe and it's coming up for Christmas. That's a great reason to make a video about it. But basically, it's an Air Force One high, and that's the main reason to make a video about it. So without further ado, let's get into this and take a look at the upcoming release of the Nike Air Force One high ugly Christmas sweater. This is the Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel day. This is my niche up soon, no day. My niche me to go to sign. Every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And I would say that Air Jordan 1s have been the big sneaker in my channel in the 2 years that I've had this channel. If you had to look through and you had to categorize the videos I've made, Jordan 1s would be at the top of the tree. And then I think second to that is Air Force 1s. I would guess I have looked at between 20 and 25 Air Force 1s for the channel. Like right now I'm picturing some of them that I've talked about. There was a motorway one, not motorway, I can't remember what it's called, motocross or something, sports to do with like racing and stuff. That was a great early shoe that I did at the channel in Air Force 1s. And they've always been there, florals and stuff like that. And I do try to keep Air Force 1s going because they're a classic shoe, 38 years. Same silhouette. It's true and tried and tested. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, and that's where they are with Air Force Ones. But then when you get on high, I just have to look at it. And the story's great. I love it all about the ugly Christmas sweater. I'm all for poking a bit of fun at myself and people out there. Don't mind that, especially in the comments down below. Don't mind people sort of having their opinions. And sometimes I counter them, sometimes I don't. Sometimes we agree and sometimes we don't. Both fine things to do. But I do want to have a look at the shoe, and I do want to go through it and actually point out some of the details on it. I've got a feeling that people will look at it and they'll just be overridden by that ugly Christmas sweater feel, that they're not actually catching some of the really important details. And it's my job today to take you through that and tell you all of those important details. So first things first, let's get into the shoe and look at where it's important. I'm going to start down on the toe, and we're going to start on the materials down there. We'll get to the design and we'll get to where this design is reflected throughout the rest of the shoe. But the first thing is the materials, because usually an Air Force One high or low would come with leather all over the place. But you can see in this picture here that yes, it's got leather overlays around the toe box, but the toe box itself in that Christmassy, snowflakey, ugly Christmas sweater design is actually more of a fabric feel than a leather feel, and that's kind of important. Now we're zoomed in on there, and you get that look close up at the red background with the white snowflakes on it, and that's important because it's repeated in 2 other places, and it's done in green as well in 1 other place. So we're going to have a look at the 2 red places first, and then we'll get into the green one. But before we get to that, let's just quickly focus in on those overlays that I was talking about, and that really solid deep red leather that anchors the shoe, both in terms of material, because the leather is the stronger material and more solid, but also in terms of that deeper color to give it that sort of base from which everything is built. Now if we come back from that on the lateral side, you get to the midfoot section, and that's where you see again for the second time that white snowflake vibe on top of the red, and again it's that fabric feel that you've got to the shoe. But now what you've also got is the white swoosh on there to add an element of class to the shoe, because it is an Air Force One high, and that swoosh does exactly that in leather, not the fabrics that are made to do with the snowflakes and that red background on there. And the third place to look at with the red background and the white snowflakes is up on the tongue, and looking at the detailing on the tongue. So those 3 places represent the ugly Christmas sweater, red with white snowflakes. But then we go up from that, and it's not too far to that classic Air Force One high ankle strap, and you can see this is where it comes in green with the white white snowflake motif on it there. And it's very Christmassy colours, red, white and green. It's just very, very, very Christmassy. And I kind of agree with their placement of the colours on these. Had they gone with more green lower down, or if they'd gone with a red on the strap, I think it wouldn't have been enough, or it would have been too much. But the fact that they've gone with the red base and then the green, it's almost like a ribbon, you know, around a present, the green ribbon around a red present, and that works for me. But then it's the details. There are details in there. Now, detail number one is that these snowflake elements on there are fabrics and not leathers, and that might be something that people are missing out on. But detail number two is the gold hits throughout the shoe, and since we're already zoomed in on that ankle strap, it's not too hard to look in detail at the swoosh on there that is in gold. And again, that adds a little bit of class to this shoe, and it might be to do with, you know, wrapping or ornaments or Christmas or something along those lines. But it doesn't stop there, because it's not too hard to get to the top of the lacing, not the lacing, the tongue, and see the gold branding at the top of the tongue on these guys. And then instead of going around to the heel where we'll see gold branding as well, let's go down to the bottom of the lacing system, to the Dubrays, because there you see them also in gold, which is another classy little feature of this shoe, and a big yes as far as I'm concerned. And like I said though, the final place to go is around the back, where you see the sort of swooshes, the white swooshes drawing it together. You've got the red kind of panels coming around. You've got that green strap in there. It's all creating this cross section right on top of that Nike swoosh Air branding, which is on a white background and embroidered in there in gold stitching to give it some really nice luxe feel. And then the very final thing, and again, a lot of people might be too focused on the surface elements of the shoe to dig into it and realize these things, but let's look at it from above down into the shoe. Usually what I'd be showing you is an insole right now, but I can't do that because of the amount of padding on this. It's a fluffy, white, snowy, woolly inside to this shoe that is going to be warm and it's going to be comfortable, and it 100% fits the narrative of this shoe. It's Christmas, it's cold, it's snowy, unless you're in Australia or anywhere else in the southern hemisphere. But definitely the feel of this shoe should be about snow, should be about winter, should be about Christmas, and putting that padding on the inside and that overly fluffy snow white feel to the inside of the shoe is a great finish, because that's the narrative of the shoe, and it's definitely the ugly Christmas sweater feel. Now, there are other ugly Christmas sweater shoes from the Nike line coming, and I'm unlikely to do any of them, including the 30th anniversary of the Air Max 90. I don't think I'm going to get to those shoes. I think I'm just going to make this my one ugly Christmas sweater shoe for this season, because I think A, it's an Air Force One High, which is a big deal, and B, this is the one that really tells the story as it should do. So it's tongue-in-cheek a bit from Nike, it's tongue-in-cheek a bit from the Air Force One line, but I think it kind of works. It's a funny looking shoe, it's a cute looking shoe, but it isn't actually ugly. Ugly Christmas sweater, Air Force One High, you're not ugly. It's a nice looking shoe. You know, probably only going to wear it once or twice a year. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be wearing these to play basketball in summer. Definitely, but still, quirky little shoe, funny little shoe, a little bit of fun at the channel. Don't mind doing this once in a while, especially, like I said, an Air Force One High. When they come around, I come around. Okay, time for me to check off, and thank you guys for checking out the content. We're churning out the videos, trying to keep the content going every single day here at Tokyo Butter 23, and we're doing that, and I'm going to keep on keeping on doing that, and hopefully we'll get into our third year of daily content real soon. So with that being said, and without further ado, it's time for me to sign off. Thank you guys for checking out the content, but because I do this every single day, that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.